All right, guys, Michael Hicks here with Mike Does out here at Round Pond Retreat in LaFayette, Georgia with Clay Tracy. I'm gonna get Clay to show us around and tell us what he's got going on here. All right, so Clay, tell us what you're doing here and what this used to be and kind of the concept and the purpose and the intent behind it, why you're doing it, and give us a little bit of the history.
Okay. So essentially what this was, the Round Pond, a lot of people knew that the Round Pond and certainly the Round Pond Mobile Home Park, over the years it kind of went downhill, and we wanted to really get it back on its feet, what it was, 100 years ago. It's kind of
you didn't want to put another mobile home park back.
We didn't. No, we wanted it to be more what it was 100 years ago. They loved to come here to fish and just enjoy each other's company, picnic and things like that. The banks were really bad. Addison Fields and myself have spent a tremendous amount of hours down here just cleaning banks. You couldn't actually see to the other side of the pond.
Oh, wow.
So it was in really bad shape. We had to tear down some mobile homes, tear down a lot of trash, but essentially we want to take out the old mobile home park and put in a campground, and that's what we're doing. We've done a tremendous amount of work already, putting in water, septic, power to all the sites. All the sites now have those things, and we're going to have a combination of RV slips and tiny homes. This is
talk about a tiny home. This is a tiny home on wheels, but it's not what you normally think of when you think of a tiny home on wheels.
Well, technically, it's not on wheels.
Yeah, I know.
We actually lifted it up and we actually put foundation and stuff under it. It appears that it is just because of the truck, but it's really not.
That's an interesting thing you brought up there. So I know Walker County, where we are, requires your homes to be on a foundation. So looking from a distance, you wouldn't realize that this is on a foundation. You'd say, how did you do that? So I love that they took and said, okay, how can we do this? Or instead of somebody saying you can't do this, well, can I do it this way?
Yeah. And Walker County really worked with us on how to get that foundation under it to make it legit.
Yeah.
And like the cab is just a facade,
sure,
but it's a cool facade.
Yes, it's definitely a cool facade.
So we've done some tiny houses. We'll take you down to the floating house in a minute, and a pavilion. We're going to do several other tiny homes in here. Right now we're just trying to get in with 2 tiny homes, and then the RV slips. We'll have a couple tent sites just to have for friends and family.
So how many sites total are you planning on having?
There's 21, including the floating house, but 20 is what it basically is.
And how many tiny homes and how many campsites and how many RV?
It's approved for up to 10 tiny homes, and basically we're going to do more RV slips right now. Just because we can't afford. Just because we can't afford to do all the tiny homes. But
so is this the RV spots? Are they permanent or are they temporary? Or?
They are temporary. The county has restricted us, which we're glad. We wanted it to be more short-term rental.
Sure.
So this is not going to be long-term rental at all. It'll be nightly, weekly rentals. We go up to 14 days.
Okay. So somebody coming into town for a festival or whatever business they might have in LaFayette or Walker County, Chickamauga, Rossville, whatever, can stay here around the pond and for a couple of weeks. Okay.
We were trying to stick with the whole Walker Rocks thing.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's I'm a fan, but just the feel that you've gotten out here so far is just, I'm digging it. But let's go ahead and take a look, and we'll walk around and take a look at a few of these and tell us your inspiration behind them. And
okay.
Where did this one come from? What's the story behind this thing? Because that's Studebaker's kind of rare anyway. But where'd you run across this?
Well, Addison, I don't know if y'all. Addison Fields is my partner here. He likes old trucks. I like old trucks. Yeah. So we thought, we'll find us a couple old trucks and we'll just make tiny homes out of them.
That's awesome.
We've got a few of them. We actually have 3 of them. One of them's just going to be landscape purposes.
Okay.
This one will be a tiny home, and then we may put one more on the other side of the park.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah, so what you can't really see, the rain has washed in some of these, but that's actually a concrete pier that these are actually in. So these are metal pipe, and they run up through that concrete. They're on the foundation, and then we ran them up at the same height all the way around to get the truck level so that the springs didn't push the truck down. And then we welded that around there.
Okay. All right, so tell us a little bit about what's going to be inside, what's out here. I know you've got what appears to be the bathhouse over here, and then so what will be functioning inside?
Yeah, so essentially in here, it's obviously it's tiny. It's on the back of a bed of a truck. So we wanted to keep that small. We didn't want to add too much to it. So what we're gonna have in there is basically a bed and a little, probably like a little counter space for coffee pot and to eat breakfast, stuff like that.
Okay.
We wanted a small, we're gonna stain this deck. Wanted a small deck just so they could enjoy the pond and stuff. Our stairs were actually left here from probably the 70s, one of the old mobile homes, so we thought it'd be cool to use that.
I love repurposing old material and you know, finding that stuff. Talking about old material, I see you've got this tin on the roof. Where'd you find that stuff? That an old chicken house, or is that a...
We actually made it. It's muriatic acid and hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
You can rust metal in about 10 minutes.
Wow, that's pretty quick. I saw that. I didn't know if you had reclaimed that or did that yourself.
We thought about reclaiming, but the problem with it, it's got holes in
the
it.
right spot.
And, yeah, and we didn't want to deal with that, so we bought new stuff. And the boat, when we go over to the boat, you'll see it a lot better on how it aged it and stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as bathrooms, we wanted them pretty close together, so that will be the bathhouse for this location here. It's got a bath on, a shower on one side and toilet and sink on the other side.
So I know you're still in progress. What's the time frame on finishing this unit up and being ready to go? So
as far as the campground, we're hoping for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
The tiny homes, this one and the floating house, probably won't make opening day for us, but the bathhouses will, as for it, and the RV spots themselves.
Okay.
We're hoping on these probably August.
Okay. There's always something to do. Little finishing. That's my least favorite part of a build is finishing.
That's right. Well, the good thing is these are so small. They finish out pretty quick.
It's like remodeling a bathroom.
That's right.
All right, so we're here at the second unit. Love this. We've been wanting to do some floating units. So how'd this one come about? It looks like you might have taken an old pontoon boat and converted it.
That's right. So if you ever told me I was a Pinterest person, I would have told
I'm
you.
the same way.
Absolutely not.
Now I've got boards full of stuff.
Right? My wife was like, well, just go on Pinterest and look at stuff for the park. And I'm like, what? But anyways, that's actually how we got the idea of this one. It is on a pontoon. We actually figured out all the weight of the material and found out the pontoons weren't gonna quite get what we needed. So we actually had to buy, you can see it up front.
I see the floats underneath.
Yeah, it's got drums underneath it. They go all the way to the back. In fact, we made a little bit of a mistake, an error. We didn't put it all the way to the back. And when we built this thing, it teetered a little bit. We had to go in there and actually jack it up and put another one under the back. Now it's good. Certainly a learning curve on this thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's a cool project for sure. It's been a lot of fun. We're gonna stain the deck, and the inside is it'll be a 16 by 8.
Okay.
So decent size. It'll be a lot like the truck. It'll have a bed and then a little breakfast nook, and then we wanted the porch a little bit bigger. That's why we took away a little bit of that space, because we wanted to be able to people to enjoy. In fact, that dock over there, you see that gangway right across the area? That's actually where it'll sit. We'll set it down in the water in that brush over there.
The gangway will go out to it.
It'll go out 20 foot, so it'll actually sit over there. We did it over here just because this is the flattest bank and it was easier for us to work on it right now.
Yeah, you talk about, being a learning curve, that's the same thing with the tree house and the shipping container. I mean, where do you find locally somebody that's done it?
That's right.
You just got to figure it out,
That's
right.
So. And that's about all we've done in this park. Addis and I have tried to figure out everything we've done.
Figure it out and move forward. So, bathroom in here or bathhouse out?
No, and that's why we're moving it over there, because there's
So
a
that's the
bathhouse right
bathroom,
there.
okay.
So essentially they'll just go out the gangway, out the dock area, and then right up to the bathhouse.
So those I was going to ask, is each individual spot for the campers, will they be, the RVs, will they be on their own separate sewer?
Everything, yeah, that was the beauty of this being a park.
So you already had the infrastructure in place.
Yeah, all the mobile home parks already had their own septic tanks, so everything will have their own individual tanks and fill lines. That's why we put 2 for each of these.
Okay.
And they're kind of staggered in between. We did that strategically. That way, if they had an emergency, they broke a toilet or something, at least they had one in close proximity to about where their site would be.
So tell me about this one. Is this tiny home on truck number 2? Is it going to be a different model than that one? What are we going to do with this one?
So probably not. So this one, I think we're going to have maybe 2 that will be tiny homes. We'll have that one, and then I've got a 47 Chevy that's really nice. It's like the Studebaker.
Okay.
In fact, that 47 Studebaker actually had the original title when I bought it.
Oh, wow.
But anyways, the 47 Chevy will probably go over there at the other bathhouse.
Okay.
This one is just the landscape piece. We're going to finish out the headache rack and put an old bed on it, and then landscape around it.
Okay.
People can, Halloween will put pumpkins and stuff like that on it. People can take pictures. But that's really all this one's going to be. It's just a landscape piece.
Yeah, we kind of do that at Christmas and Halloween and do different, holiday sets and seasonal sets. So that's a good. I love decorating the flower beds with old pickup trucks. That's
the feel that we were going for is basically, obviously you can tell from everything we've done, even our sign at the entrance, it's going to be older, the more rusty, the 47 Internationals, the 47 Studebakers, the 47 Chevys.
So you stuck on 47? Is that your year? Is that just the way it worked out?
It just worked out that way. It wasn't planned. Even the boathouse, it was later, obviously.
It's not a 47 pontoon, is it?
It's not a 47 pontoon. Okay. But we do have the original party barge that's in leather, and we're going to keep it and put it on the wall.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool.
Nice, I love it.
So.
All right, so we're standing on the entrance side of the pond, or the entrance side of the community here. Did it always look like this, or what were you looking at when you purchased this place?
I can send you guys a picture of what it used to be. When my wife and I purchased this last July, when we came in this park, you couldn't walk around the actual road anymore. Wow. And in this spot right here, you actually couldn't see that truck that's over there. You couldn't see anything. All these banks were really bad. Bushes all right here. You couldn't get to the water's edge anywhere. So it was in really bad shape. We pulled back the banks a little bit to make them a little bit easier to get down to, and got all the brush. We left some brush just because of fish habitat. We didn't want to kill all the fish habitat. But
were there still mobile homes here when you purchased the place? Or?
There was 2. There was one here, and then there was one in the back. We did have to demolish those, which was a hassle in itself just because we had to get bonded titles and everything else. But we finally got them gone, and that was a big day for us.
I bet. How long did it take to get that bonded title?
We ended up not having to get a bonded title only because I found a relative to the guy that passed away. And he went down and got a title for it, and then signed it over to me. Nice. Of course, I had to purchase it, but it was probably the same as a bonded title, so no big deal. And then that one back there, it was actually condemned by the county, so I had to go through the court process, which is 6 months. But at least I didn't have to pay for a bonded title.
All part of the process.
All part of the process.
That's another learning process too. You get into a project like this, you just got to figure it out.
That's right.
And you learn something every time you do a project like this, where there's finding the next of kin and working out the details on the heirs and getting it signed over, or giving cash for keys in a sense. Paying for something that they would have never used and probably didn't even know was here.
Right.
But it's peace of mind, and it's done quicker.
That's right.
And then also on the condemned home, that takes the liability off of you. It's been condemned by the county. You can go ahead and take it down and not have to worry about that liability as well. Or somebody coming back and saying, hey, you took my mobile home. All right, we're up here in the pavilion, and you said there's going to be campsites around the pavilion?
Yep, it'll be surrounded. So basically all of our campsites, all of our RV spots, as well as our cabins, are completely surrounding this 2-acre round pond.
Okay.
Pavilion is no different. If you look that way, obviously you can see a great view of the pond.
Sure.
And that was kind of our intent of everything that we did, everything to have kind of a view. And the other thing we tried to do is make sure that our RV spots were far apart. A lot of parks you go to, they're 14 foot apart, right on top of each other. Ours, we wanted kind of separate. This pavilion we wanted kind of separate too. We wanted a few spots around it. That way if there was a family reunion, they could actually get all 3 of these spots, get the pavilion rented out, and have a nice spot for a family reunion.
So is this going to be a common area for the whole park?
It will, but unless it's reserved. Okay. We're going to put a reservation on it. So if it's not reserved, then yes, it'll be just a common area.
So is it available for reservation only for the campers, or just if somebody from the community wanted to come have a birthday party here? Or?
Yeah, we've had a lot of people ask us, is it going to be open for fishing?
Yeah.
The answer to the question, unfortunately, is no, only because they would fish it out. Yeah. But if you reserved this for a family reunion or something like that, we would let you fish. Sure. Or if you reserved a spot, we would let you fish. That's one of the reasons we opened this up to the general public without getting a spot, to allow them to be able to fish in the pond and still have a way to do that.
So growing up in scouting, I love the feel. I love, it reminds me of camping when we were kids, So I was, every month we were at a different campground. Most of ours was not primitive camping, but we were at campgrounds with campsites and tent camping. But I love the communal space. I love the way it's laid out around the pond. I mean, I think you really hit a home run here, and I don't think you could have found a better spot to do something like this.
Yeah, we're really excited about that, and we'll probably right in front of this, down closer to the water, we'll put a family fire pit or a community fire pit where people could build a bigger fire, especially if they had more than one person here. So yeah, we think it's a great investment. We've actually, our family has tried to buy this place for about 40 years.
Yeah, that's even
and we've been at the wrong place at the wrong time until recently, and we just happened to be at the right place.
Great. So anything else on the property you want to tell us about? You're doing some hiking trails, aren't you, or mountain bike trails?
We are. They'll actually be down at the north corner. There'll be an entrance to a bike trail, and there'll be almost a mile that'll go up in the woods. This is 17 acres here.
Nice.
And we'll have almost 1 mile of bike trail that'll end up basically at that entrance down there.
Okay.
So we've got that, and then basically where the boat's sitting right now, we'll have a small beach area, hopefully. Just a little sandy area. People can put in paddle boards or kayaks or something like that. Be easier entrance.
That's a good upsell. You got you get yourself a couple paddle boards and rent them out for the day.
We thought about that, putting a small section on the back of this. We wanted this rustic. In fact, we're finishing this out with red oak.
Okay. And
everything else will be exposed. The collar ties that go across we've doubled those up so that we could actually fur them out to make them look like beams.
Oh, nice. And
then we may put, like you say, a section on the back for kayaks and rent paddle boards and things like that.
I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's finished. 6 to 8 weeks, we'll come back out here and do another video. Follow up. I appreciate you letting us come out.
Fantastic. Glad you came.
Let us know what you guys think. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come down and see Clay around Pond Retreat in LaFayette, Georgia.